The world, planet Earth. Everything we know, love, and hold dear sits on this rock. The entire history of all time as we know it is contained somewhere in our soil, in our oceans, or on top of our land. But what if it was all gone? Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions, the channel where we ask a breadth of questions to satisfy the curious mind. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today I'm asking, what if the world ended in 7 days? And blimey, what a bombshell. Before we get into answering this question, I want to ask you guys what you would do if you had just 1 day left on Earth. What a question! I think I'd wake up early, have a delicious breakfast with my friends and family, go on a hike for a few hours, have a big lunch, go to the pub, play a board game, drink wine, eat cheese, tell everyone I love them, and have a big old banoffee pie to finish. Sounds like a great day. Shame it has to be the end of the world. Also, while you're down there leaving me a comment, why don't you hit that thumbs up button and share this video with a friend? If you guys want to connect with the creative team behind this video, then have a little look in our description box. Okay, before we get into this, let's really consider what actually could end the world. Now, we're not talking nuclear war. There are 15,000 nuclear weapons on Earth, and while this could very much damage humanity and animal life, our actual rock would easily withstand it. Even if they were all detonated at once, it would just be surface damage. Volcanic eruptions are also hard for humans, but a part and parcel of planet Earth. Solar flares can't end Earth despite what the Daily Mail tells you. But yes, the world will end in some way when our sun finally explodes, but that is billions of years away and will take longer than 7 days. The Earth's core may eventually cool too, but that will take a long period of time and wouldn't so much destroy Earth as render it inhospitable. So what actually could end Earth in 7 days? The only options really are rogue planets or huge asteroid collisions or destruction by a black hole. All of these are wildly unlikely and don't really bear worrying about. But to answer this question, we need to assume that one of those things is happening. I guess we could also factor in an alien species with an Earth-destroying weapon just to add some drama. Hello, Death Star. If the Earth was about to be totally destroyed either by an asteroid, a rogue planet collision, or being gobbled up by a black hole, we would have a warning period of longer than 7 days. Astrologists have their eye on what is going on at all times, so I guess that really does just leave the alien Death Star laser destruction attack. Sure, I mean, would it have ended any other way on this channel? So the real question is, would the governments of the world tell us? When it became clear that we had 7 days until D-Day, world leaders would meet to discuss how to react to the news and how to break the news if need be to the global population. Of course, organizations like NATO would try and come up with a resolution. The bittersweet blessing and curse of humanity is hope, and we would hold on to it until the very end. The world leaders would try and find a way to save the Earth, but eventually, as the time drew close, they would have a responsibility to tell the world, who in turn would cling on to hope that something could be done. But as our question is of destruction, we're guessing nothing actually works. Perhaps there would be a top secret getaway plan. At the moment, the world isn't prepared for a mass evacuation of 7.5 billion people. There is nowhere set up for us to go, even if we had the resources. But humans are planning on setting up a base on Mars within the next decade. Now, I am almost certain that NASA and other space agencies would make a last-ditch scramble to get some of us off the planet and headed towards survival. Billionaires like Richard Branson with Virgin Galactic and Elon Musk with Tesla will also try and crack on out of here. Whether it would be possible to get out is one thing, how long they would survive is another. An exodus itself triggers a whole new line of questions. It's a can of worms. If all else fails though, if nobody gets off the planet, we will at least send out some kind of documentation of Earth and our story into space, our lasting legacy. Back on Earth, if the general public were told that they had just 7 days left on Earth, the first few days would be absolute chaos. As much as I would like to believe that we as a species are better than this when facing extinction, I honestly think the number of people who wanted to behave lawlessly would send cities into total mayhem. What do laws mean now, anyway? I would be among the number of people who would just want to get to my family and live out my last days in peace. I'd want to enjoy a few nice meals and a few nice hikes, but honestly, how How could I even do that when all the grocery stores have been raided? There would be need for a lot of military forces controlling the panic, but I imagine even the forces would lose hope and not want to spend the last few days of their lives at work. I'm thinking that airports would be totally shut down, roads would be gridlocked, and wherever you are when the news comes within a 50 or so mile radius will probably be where you are when the end comes, so better find some end of world buddies and bunker up. Hopefully at some point over the 7 days you could at least talk to your family if you lived away from home like me, although it might be a struggle as phone networks would be overloaded. Social media would be a colourful place too, with floods of images and messages marking the end of the world. How would the end come? Would there be live streams around the world? Would certain places in the world go first and then the rest of us follow like meridian lines at New Year? For all the chaos of the first few days, the last days on Earth perhaps would be quiet and peaceful amongst the smouldering wreck of society. Perhaps we would finally learn to love those around us when we realize that race, religion and politics really don't matter. Nothing we thought matters will matter at the end. I imagine a global outdoors gathering of people smiling together, but you know, maybe that's just too idealistic. On the final day, our only hope for humanity would be those who got away, if indeed they did, although their struggle to resettle will be the hardest thing that we as humans have ever faced. If nobody survives, then there will be nobody to tell the story of Earth, a rich 4.5 billion year history reduced to floating space rock. Our only hope of being remembered will be if another interstellar race intercepts our space capsule, and even if they do, who's to say that they would even be able to decipher what we said? Well guys, what a question. I'm sure that we could talk all day about what would happen if the world ended. It's such a multi-pronged topic with so much to cover, so do let me know if you want us to go into further detail. For now though, do leave me a comment and let me know what you would do if you had just 1 day left. Also, while you're down there leaving a comment, why don't you hit that thumbs up button and share this video with a friend. Also, if you want to stay up to date with the next big answers, then do click on that notification bell. Thank you guys for tuning into this video. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate. I'll catch you soon, but until then, stay curious, stay alert, and never ever stop questioning.